Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So we continue our project, Get Cynthia onto the tour. It's going pretty good.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna send in my 2 weeks.
Send it in to the boss?
Yeah.
Yeah, your 2 weeks is rejected. We're definitely not accepting those. Driver's been great. Fairway wood was really good. We got a nice 15 yards last time over your old M65 wood. And we kind of teased into the fact that by gaining this yardage with the driver and fairway wood, it's going to create some space and some gaps, some stretch. There's a couple older clubs there. There's a M4 hybrid, and there's a little Titleist hybrid in your bag as well. So counting up the clubs, I mean, you've got some room. I mean, your longest iron is a 6.
Yeah.
So we definitely have some room to get some other clubs in Cynthia's bag just to balance the whole thing out.
This is definitely something that, I mean, I witnessed when we did something before, and I'm sure we see a lot in a lot of our fitting bays, is someone gets fit for a driver, obviously you immediately extend the top end of the bag. And then for the irons, like you've done the iron fit in the past, realizing where optimization really kind of stops with your longest club and then figuring out that gapping. We think a lot of players really do struggle with where should I stop my irons? Where should I start my fairway woods? Should I use a 7 wood? Should I use a hybrid? Because it's all about, you know, when it comes down to, it doesn't really matter what club it is, it comes down to descent angle and height.
100%. And Cynthia, you're not a high spin player, so you know we definitely need the ability to create launch and speed. If spin isn't our ally, we have to use the other two. So we always talk about, guys, the 3 variables that make the ball go up or contribute to lift: speed, launch, spin. Too much spin will actually make the ball go down. So we don't want to ever really rely on spin as the major variable. We would much rather rely on the speed and the launch. So that's where probably stopping at the right time for Cynthia, which is 6 iron, is a really, really smart move. And how we kind of put the rest of the bag together, you know, is going to be the next and really final task, because you've got a great set of wedges now. Cam done a great fit for you on those. You've got your irons, you've got your 2 woods. We just need that little space filled.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see a few 6 irons. I want to firstly, now we know how far your 3 wood goes, 220. It's about 205 on the carry. Driver flies about 220-ish and goes out to about 240. So we have a good idea of where the spacing is occurring right now. We just need to kind of fill. We've got 3 spots in there, Cynthia, we need to fill. Okay, let's hit a couple with the 6.
Nice swing there.
A little sneaky heel strikes. It's bothering you today, isn't it?
Yeah, I think my other clubs are like that too, like my wedges as well.
What did Scott have you working on yesterday?
Staying connected here and feel like I'm coming over the top, because he said I was really, really inside.
Okay. That was a nice strike.
About time.
Okay, good, Cynthia. We just, good to baseline the 6 iron again, get a little feel for where we were at. So we've got your path a little into out, nicely down on it. Face is hanging a little on the open side today, so kind of matching the path on average. So maybe leaking a few out to the right, but that's fine. Ball data, launch is good. Spin is, you know, spin is absolutely fine. I want to just see where your, so your peak height is 76. Your club head speed is 77. We've talked about this before, but trying to match up 6 iron speed to peak height. So you're right there, which is really, really nice. Okay, why don't you get, what's the next club in your bag? What's the 5 iron replacement?
The 5 hybrid. It's the 818.
H1?
H1, yeah. No, I just have that set to neutral.
Would you say there's a particular shot that you struggle with this club?
Yeah, for this one, I know I can't draw it as well.
Okay.
Whereas the other ones, even the 4 hybrid, I could.
That's very
Nicely
good.
done.
Go in the hole. Oh.
So soft fringes.
All rain last night. Okay, Cynthia. So you brought us your 818 H1 neutral cartridge. Probably don't have the opposing cartridge in the bag.
No.
Okay, so we have one in the back. So what we're going to do firstly is we're going to try and sort of change the CG location a little bit. We're going to put the dominant mass in the heel, see if we can encourage a little bit of rotation, see if we can't get that face squared up a little bit more. We're also going to go a little bit more upright, see if we can tilt the face to the left. So we're going to move over into the A2 setting. Depending on your distance, I mean, it's one of the reasons I love doing hybrid fits with adjustable sleeves. I know it's probably not where you want to place the mass, I get it, but it gives us so many options when it comes to dialing in our players. So for Cynthia, who's struggling with a little bit of a leaky one, club doesn't feel quite solid, well, we're striking it a little bit heel side, so we'll move that mass in there and we tilt it upright a little bit. It's going to help.
It's really helpful for start line, correct? I know, like
100%.
that's the big thing for a lot of players is to see really where they're going to be focusing on for like their aim point. So if you like to hit a draw, you're looking to hit a draw, it's a club you struggle with. What you've done here is, you know, not only created a more draw bias from the weight, but you've also done it with the adjustable hosel.
Definitely, yeah, and I think it's going to change the user experience, so I certainly hope it is. I mean, it's not a million miles away from something I would grab you off the wall, to be honest, so I want to see if we can explore your hybrid first, and then, you know, if it doesn't work, we will look at some other options, okay? We can manage that one.
Yeah, we'll do okay.
Little 3-footer.
It definitely, it even sounded different, I would say.
Because now the mass is behind the strike, right? So, you know, we've got this weight cartridge, it's 14 grams, and it's equally distributed on the cartridge that Cynthia was using, and now we're putting the mass into the heel side, so should certainly help. Love that one, Cynthia. You really hear that one.
Get in. You almost did it with the driver before.
I know.
I want to see another one.
Frightening the hole here. Good.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I like what we're seeing. Okay, Cynthia, so we're a few shots into this, and we're starting to analyze the dynamics, what's changing, right? So first things, obviously, most important is where's the strike, where's the face, right? So the strike has moved slightly up the head and certainly moved in a little bit. The face angle is less open by about 1.9 degrees. The loft is tilted up a little bit more, which is great, which is and basically turned the dynamic loft down a little bit. So all in all, you know, we've got this really, really nice neutral flight. Now, it actually hasn't really changed the carry numbers or anything like it. It's fractionally higher through the launch, but
and to your point, you mentioned earlier, right? We don't want to rely on spin.
Yeah.
We've actually lowered spin in this scenario and still seen the height higher.
Yeah.
Because contact is better and everything about what else is being created, like changed dynamically. So it is, like, it's interesting to see that because people would think, oh, the spin's less, it's going to fly lower, but that's really not the case.
Definitely. If we can move the strike and get it up the head a little bit, we'll start to get more of the spin rates that we're looking for. I mean, we don't need to be spinning it in the mid-5s. There was a couple of mishits in the heel that were up in the 6s. I mean, 49 is plenty. I mean, Cynthia's going to have tons of stopping power. I just think that's a much, much better ball flight for Cynthia. And looking at the 150 carry to 160 rollout, this really leads us into this is the next club.
Yeah.
Did it feel different sort of second time around with that weight adjusted?
Yeah, I can feel that I actually hit it a little more solid.
Yeah, a bit more solid, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it was turning in my hand like the other shots.
Yeah, you feel that deflection on the miss hit. And I mean, how is your feel for the shaft? Is it, or the club in general even, is it heavy? Is it?
It's a little heavy.
Okay.
Compared to that one. I like
of the other
like
stuff.
that was just the M4 was just really comfortable.
I mean, I really don't want to mess with this too much. I mean, I think we can manipulate swing weight a little bit for Cynthia to get the club to feel like it moves a little bit
Yeah, like the weight, like even with those adjustable weight cartridges, we can find something that's a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
So it's going to produce the same center of gravity,
Effect.
and it's just going to feel a little bit lighter. So it's going to match up to the preferred feel that you're looking for.
Definitely. And even, you know, I wouldn't be all that against buzzing a 1/4 inch off there for Cynthia and just taking that swing weight down a little bit again. I mean, I don't think that's going to make you feel uncomfortable if we took it down a little bit in length.
Yeah, no, I choke it up a little bit.
A little bit
anyway.
Yeah. I'm not. I mean, I think. I mean, maybe salvageable is the wrong way to put it. Sounds like you've got a bad club and like, you know, but you certainly don't. You've got a really good club. We just made it incrementally better. I don't really think Cynthia's going to get banged for a buck off something on the wall. And we say this to customers all the time. You know, if they walk in the door with something that we can work with, and it's different right here because we're not trying to max out performance. We're trying to fill a gap.
Yeah.
So it's a 160 gap. That's our objective here. Can we do it? And you know, if we compare the 5-iron right here to the 6-iron, I mean, how many players go from 6-iron to 5-iron and gain height and stopping power, right? That makes it such a more effective golf club for you, Cynthia, because you actually have much more stopping power now with the next one, which I really like. All right, so we're getting curious about the weight. Can we potentially get you to make a little better contact if we take a little bit of that weight out? We talked about moving the weight into the heel, but we're going to move into a TSi1 that has a central weight, but it's about 6 grams lighter in the head.
Yeah, we just checked it on the scale. We're looking at about 6 grams lighter in the same head.
Yeah.
So the TSi1 or the TSi1 in general from the driver, Fairway hybrids, are all designed to be higher launching and lighter to fit in that category for players that potentially need a little bit of spin, but most importantly, speed and ease of turning over, which is exactly what we're looking for here.
Okay, this will be interesting. That sounded nice.
Look at that.
Okay, 160 was at 2. Went right up to our flag there, 163, really nice.
Cynthia, I'm curious because the hybrid, with the TSi1 is so different looking from a shape perspective compared to your previous one. How does it look from a dress, like confidence inspiring? Like, how does it look for your eye?
It just looks, it's like bigger.
Bigger, yeah. Yeah, we're seeing this little kind of subcategory of opening up with utility, wood, and TSi1 is a little bit more of a mini wood.
Yeah.
You know, it definitely has that kind of shape to it. Nice, Cynthia.
All done. I think we have a winner.
Does it feel better with the lighter head?
It does feel better, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not hitting it like this, like just chopping it anymore.
Yeah.
Like that's 6, you said 6 grams, right?
Yeah, I think it was 234 to 240. Yeah.
It doesn't sound like a lot, but I guess it is.
It really makes a difference.
To think about the mass on the end of a golf club and like what that means for feel and how that can be determined by the player is, you know, say you got a handful of groceries, right? You could stand and hold those groceries really close to your body, close to your chest, and you wouldn't have an issue holding those groceries and walking a long distance, right? If you had that same mass and you go to hold it out like this, you're not going to make it very far, right? Yeah. And that difference is like when you have that 6 grams on the end of a golf club that's like 40 inches long, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it really adds up for player feel. And that's where when we talk about club head weight for some of these lighter drivers like a Zexio, like a TSi1 series, that 5 to 10 grams removed from a club head, you know, like even the Epic Star, like from talking fairway woods, especially in hybrids, massive difference that adds up to what seems like really small, huge advantages at the end of the day when the player is much more optimized.
Without a doubt, RB. So, Cynthia, if we just look at your hybrid as it was, so we've gained a little speed. Actually, came out fairly close on launch and spin, which is fine. Height is about the same. We've just picked up the little extra yardages that we wanted to. So now when we compare as a progression, I'm much happier with this.
Yeah.
Much happier. So, you know, really nice ball speed, good launch and spin. and I think 163 is right on our number. That sets us up really nicely for the next one as well. Okay, so we've got our next gap. So 163 on the carry. So really looking at about 180 next, right? So we'll get that'd be our next carry number. Let's hit that little M4 hybrid.
Nice little draw there.
Nice, Cynthia, really nice.
Boom. Aw.
You're gonna get one of these times. Okay, Cynthia, that was some good ones in there, but it's a little inconsistent. So in the shake-up, it doesn't end up all that different. Obviously more upside, more potential distance, but actually not realised because it's not quite as consistent. So we're going to look at a couple of different options. We may start to look at the higher lofted fairway wood option.
Let's get a little pop on that one.
Okay, Cynthia, so last one felt super heavy to you, not quite as good. Made a little adjustment here. So we were in 21 degree fairway wood. We've kind of went about our business a little differently here. We've actually went with less loft, closed it up a little bit. So we're at 20.5. So the loft that we're playing is almost identical, but we've just went about it in a different way. We've closed the face a little bit. We've also went ½ inch shorter on the length because you were finding you were catching the ground a little bit. And we've went with a higher balance point shaft. So all things that should make this club much easier to swing. Love that, Cynthia. Look at that. It's going to carry all of it. Beautiful. Right in the crosshair, we see the speed, significantly spike up. Height's fantastic. Let's see how this is shaping up for gapping. I'm pretty pleased with that. 21 yards.
It's really nice.
It's quite nice. We're incrementally, from where that 6-iron was, we're kind of incrementally adding height. So, technically these longer clubs are becoming scoring clubs, because we're getting such good land angles on it.
The interesting thing about this from earlier is, we tried lowering the loft of your other club, and we saw, the dispersion really kind of spread out a little bit again. We've gone to something where it's lower, to your point, added loft to it. So when people ask the question, like, what does adding loft or decreasing loft actually do? Well, in some cases, by design, it is intended to create a little bit more of a bias for that we talked about earlier, start line for the player. And in Cynthia's case, trying to hit that draw, trying to hit a little higher. We've kind of achieved all of that because that setting now adds a little bit of lie angle, adds the loft, and it just helps create that bias, which is exactly why we're seeing that more height and better contact.
Love it, love it. Does this feel a little easier to hold your lines like Ryan says?
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, let's set a couple more with this one, but I really like where we're at with this. Sounded like a bullet coming out of a gun.
That was awesome.
I don't think any other one that we've hit was like that.
Nothing like that. Ball speed, we thought 120 was good, and then you've just added another 3 on there. So, typical fashion, when someone starts enjoying a club, your club head speed is going up as well. A couple of swings ago, you were at like 82. Yeah, 82, 84, and then incrementally it's going up as Cynthia feels better. So it's not really that was a much better strike, just a quicker, more confident swing. Let's hit one more, but I think we're right there. Love it.
Get it.
Absolutely love it. Oh, you're just hunting this flag down. I mean, drivers and hybrids and fairway
these
woods.
days.
It's gonna happen. So let's have a little look at what we're seeing. Talking carry distances for a second. Driver 220. Your fairway wood was 205. This one right here is right around what, 180 to 185. And then that hybrid was what, 173?
Yeah. And then we were at the 160 marker, so.
Or was it 163?
173 and then 160, I believe, was the. And I mean, at 205 with the fairway wood, like, you give yourself options in the lower end of your set still, and you're still kind of gapping. Like, how would you? Obviously, Cynthia has like clubs to play with in her bag. Mm-hmm. How would you go about this in this scenario? How would you kind of proceed going forward? Because I'm looking at this going, some pretty good gapping there. Mm-hmm. You want to be able to be decisive as well.
Definitely.
That's always like something that I think about in my own bag. If there's like slightly larger gaps, so. I mean, if there's an extra club, there's obviously an option, but we're seeing increased height, increased distance discrepancy, which is what we're looking for. And I mean, overall, dispersion has been great as well.
I would just tell Cynthia the extra money she was going to spend on her 14th club, go treat yourself to a nice game of golf somewhere. I don't think you need the 14th club. I think you're absolutely fine with the gapping you've got. I don't think it's essential that everyone needs 14 clubs in their bag. I think at times, like you said, that decisiveness, guys, I think that's a great point, actually. We've not touched on that enough. Having every club do its job and not having the crossovers is something that's very, very important. Cynthia's not going to be confused about what she needs to pull out of her bag at these yardages at all. And
if you think of like a par 3, for example, or an approach shot, let's say most greens are 15 to 20 yards deep. Now we've got something that can carry the front, roll to the middle, or carry the middle and roll to the back. Mm-hmm. We're looking at that in our carry and to our total yardages. And I know when I see the biggest mistake I see people make is when they're indecisive. Yeah. Either on a par 3 or on an approach shot into a par 5 or something like that, where it's like, oh, I'm in between clubs. Well, now you know if I have 180-yard carry and I need to get on the green, I'm going to pull that 5-wood out. It's going to get to the middle and then roll to the back. Mm-hmm. So you're never really worried about, trying to be, I could have hit this or I could hit that. It's that you have the ability to be decisiveness. I think that's where caddies always help players. Definitely. But I think for us, when we talk about how a player can help themselves, we use things like Arcos to understand, don't be overconfident in that 6-iron when you're not sure you're going to carry it. Yep. This gives you that information to know when you're on the course, you're going to get that distance. Yeah, and I think I would probably say Cynthia, you're an Arcos user, you're going to have Arcos in your clubs this year. Let's let the data tell us, the on-course data tell us if there's a gap. If there's certain conditions that we're not seeing in the bay that maybe we need to fill a hole. So why not hold on to that 14th club, keep it in your back pocket for right now, and then if something does crop up where we feel like we're missing something in there, we can always add that in down the line. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Awesome. That's good. Love it. Okay, so Cynthia's her driver, her 16.5 high launch 3-wood. We've kind of turned a 5-wood into a 7-wood. Yeah. We've got a 23 degree TSi1 hybrid in there, and then after that we're into the irons. Yeah, love it. It's all about being decisive. I know, like, we're looking at different lofts, different lengths, but altogether, what we're most worried about is hitting the distances, and we've done that here. Definitely. Looking at that there with those three kind of perform and in each of them having their own role, I think it's going to shape up really, really nicely. I think we've done a nice job there of eliminating some of the weaknesses or maybe the kind of things that stop Cynthia from holding certain lines and catering to that miss to the right. I think we kind of eliminated that with all of them. The TSi1 by going a bit lighter to turn it. The Stealth Plus by closing it a little bit, making it a little bit more upright. I think all that works so well together. Mission accomplished. Done. Great job. Well, we'll be requesting your presence in the summer for a recap. We want to hear how it's going. Awesome. Sounds good. Love it. Okay, guys. Hopefully, we know from the feedback we got when we done Cynthia's driver how much her swing speed resonates with so many people who watch this channel. So
hopefully some of these discussions around how we go about trying to fill gaps and not really just being one-dimensional with how we think about going about it. There's so many different options out there: weight, length, adjustability of the current clubs today, even what shaft we put in there to kind of change the balance of the golf club to make it do something a little bit different. There's so many options, and if you feel like it's overwhelming to do and find those solutions yourself, go get fit. You know, go and have a session with a professional where you can test out all these different things. I mean, this is truly a in-store experience at a TXG what Cynthia's going through right now. I mean, there's nothing about this that we don't do on an everyday basis. You know, if we don't have it in the wall, we've got something in the drawer. We just found a shaft in the drawer that we thought would work really nicely. We actually cut it down another ½ an inch from a 5-wood shaft into a 7-wood shaft. Perfect.
Messed with weights, we've messed with the hosels.
Yeah.
This is where the intricacies of golf club adjustability makes a big difference at the end result, and we're seeing that here.
Love it, love it. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed that as much as we did. Stay tuned for more. We'll see you again soon.